Hey everybody, welcome to our online class. This is math class. Okay, today we want to look at adjacent angles, vertical angles, supplementary and complementary angles. Adjacent, vertical, supplementary and complementary angles. Okay, let's just go straight away into the class. Look at this. Okay. Adjacent angles are side-by-side angles. Adjacent angles are side-by-side angles, that is, angles that stay side by side, and then they share a common ray. Look at it, they share a common ray, so they are side by side. See, 45 degrees here is side by side with 15 degrees. So these are examples of adjacent angles. You know, we want to look at adjacent, vertical, supplementary and complementary angles. 4 different types of angles. We'll just explain what each of those features mean. Okay, so these are examples of adjacent angles. 35 degrees is adjacent to 55 degrees because it's side by side. 55 degrees. Look at this. 85 degrees is adjacent to 20 degrees. It's side by side, like neighbors, right? So this is 130 degrees here, 50 degrees. This side by side with this, so they are adjacent angles. These are all examples of adjacent angles. These are not adjacent angles. Why? They don't stay side by side. Look at 55 here. It's not exactly side by side with 45 degrees here, so we don't say this is adjacent angles there. Look at this. There's a wide distance between them. It's not actually side by side. And look at this angle, is 100 degrees. This is also 50 degrees. They are not side by side each other, so they are not adjacent angles. This also is not side by side with this. Had it been this 35 is also here, we would have been 35 here and 35 here. You could have called them adjacent angles, but look at where it is standing, so they are not adjacent angles. Then when two lines intersect, that is when two lines cross, look at this, that is forming like a multiplication sign. Intersection, this is the point of intersection where two lines meet, where they cross, they make vertical angles. Some textbooks call them vertically opposite angles. Some call them vertical angles, or you have it as vertically opposite angles. That is when two lines intersect, the angles opposite each other. Look at it, they are called vertical angles or vertically opposite angles. Look at 75 degrees here and 75 degrees here. 105 degrees is vertical angle to 105 degrees here. So 105 degrees here is vertically opposite of this side. So these are vertically opposite sides, opposite angles, sorry. So, and that occurs when two lines cross, when they meet. Look at it. So I'm going to give you examples now. Look at vertical angles are always opposite one another. I already said that earlier. And then in mathematics, vertically opposite angles are always equal. Look at it, they are always congruent. They are congruent means they are equal. So look at it, that is why you have 150 degrees here and you have 150 here, because this is opposite here. It's opposite the space. So if they write x here and they say find x, once you know here is 150, you will all, you will have to write 150 for your x and just give your reason as vertically opposite angles. Look at 30 degrees here is also equal to 30 degrees here. So vertically opposite angles are congruent, they are equal. Vertical angles are always equal. Let's look at supplementary angles. We have looked at adjacent angles, we have looked at vertical angles. Now we want to look at another set or category of angles. We have the supplementary angles and we have complementary angles. In mathematics, supplementary angles we always add up to 180 degrees. Some of supplementary angles we always give you 180 degrees. Once they don't add up to 180 degrees, then they are not supplementary angles. So we say some angles are supplementary, two angles are supplementary when the sum of those two angles give you 180 degrees. You call them supplementary angles. So look at this. This is a supplementary angle here, because 120 degrees plus 60 degrees here gives me 180 degrees. So I say these angles, they are also adjacent. Did you see they are side by side? So we say these are adjacent angles as well as supplementary angles. You can have an angle, you can have two angles supplementary but not adjacent, like you have in this case here. Look at this, 40 plus 140 is going to actually give you 180 degrees, which makes them supplementary angles, but they are not adjacent adjacent angles because they are not side by side. So they are not adjacent angles, though they are supplementary angles. But look at this, they are both adjacent and supplementary because they are side by side and they equally add up to 180 degrees. So let's look at complementary angles. On the other hand, sum of two complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. When you are given two angles, if the addition of those two angles give you 90 degrees, you call them complementary angles. Don't forget that. The other, if the two angles add up to 180 degrees, you call them supplementary angles. If the two angles add up to 90 degrees, we call them complementary angles. So all complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. The addition of the two angles will give you 90 degrees. If you look at it very well, it feels like it's a corner shared into two. You see that? And in mathematics, you always know that your corner is signifying your right angle, and right angle is always talking about 90. So whenever you have this, now these are adjacent angles because they are side by side. Can you see that? So they are adjacent and also complementary because they are side by side and they both add also up to 90 degrees. On the other hand, look at this, they are complementary, 40 plus 50 though, but they are not adjacent angles because they are not side by side. So practice time. This is time for examples. Let's take some examples. Let's answer these questions together. Directions, instruction for the questions that we want to answer together. Now identify each pair of angles as tell me whether these angles are vertical, whether they are supplementary, whether they are complementary, or none of the above. So let's go to question 1. Look at these angles. This is number 1 question. What will you say? They are both. Let's look at the addition. 120 plus 60 degrees is going to give us 180 degrees. So you would agree with me that these are adjacent angles and they are equally supplementary angles. Look at it. They are supplementary angles. That's the answer there. Question 2. Look at this. 30 degrees plus 60 degrees. They will add up to 90 degrees, giving you what? Complementary angles. Look at this. What will you call these angles? Look at the line of intersection making this opposite to this. So what do we call these vertical angles? Let's look at question 4. 40 plus 60 degrees. Is it a complementary angle? No. Is it a supplementary angle? No. So your answer is what? None of the above, because it's not even adjacent and it's not vertically opposite each other. So we cannot call it any of those angles. Your answer is none of the above. So let's look at this. Look at 60 degrees here. Look at the multiplication or intersection point here, showing that this angle is vertically opposite of this angle. So we call them what? Vertical angles. Let's look at example 6. Look at this. What would you call this? 135 plus 45. The two additions should give us 180 degrees. So these are adjacent angles there as well, supplementary angles. Okay, look at this. What will you call this? 25 degrees plus 65 degrees should give you 90 degrees. So that's what? Complementary angles. Did you see that? I'm sure you got it too. Okay, what about this? What will you say? 90 degrees plus 50 degrees. What would you say? These are not adjacent angles because you know they are not side by side. They are not complementary angles because it is more than 90, and they are not supplementary angles because it's not up to 180 degrees. So what do we call them? None of the above. Let's look at okay, so look at this, answer this. Let's it's your time now to do your own questions. So you have this. So what will be the answer of this place? If you know that these angles are adjacent angles and they are adjacent, they are supposed to add up to what? 180 degrees, and you have 45 here. What should that side be? You will just take away 180 degrees, take away 45, should give you the answer of this place, which is 135. Did you see that? Okay, let's try another one example. Look at this. You should know this is a complementary angle because it's a corner being shared into two here. So if you have 65 degrees here, what should be here? That would be 90 degrees, take away 65 degrees, which should give you 25 degrees. Did you see that? I'm sure you got it too. If this place is 35 degrees, what should this place be? They are vertically opposite angles, so you know this place is going to be 35. All right, on that note, we're going to stop this class for today. I'll see you some other time. Bye bye.